So, after a long waiting and basically no updates, Iceland has finally passed and implemented the new European drone regulations. And so these are some important news for you if you are thinking about bringing your drone to Iceland. And so let's go over everything that you need to know and look at how to successfully get registered. First of all, let's take a look at the official government announcement. Iceland has implemented new European Union regulations on drone operations. And the rules categorize drone activities into 3 groups. Open category for simple flights by hobbyists and professionals with a focus on safety, then specific category for more complex operations, and certified category for larger drones and higher risk operations. But we are only going to be focusing on the open category here, because that will be the case for like 99% of you. All drone operators are now required to register at flydrone.is, and pilots flying drones weighing over 250 grams must pass a test and obtain a competency certificate. And so that's some good news for you. If your drone weighs less than 250 grams, then you can only register and you can save some time and skip the test. The same applies to those of you who have completed the A1, A3 or A2 test in EU or EEA country. Then you won't need to take the test to legally fly in Iceland. But now let's quickly talk about the open category and some of the basic rules that you will need to follow here in Iceland. The drone must weigh less than 25 kilos, the pilot must maintain a visual line of sight with the drone at all times, the drone is not allowed to fly higher than 120 meters from the ground, you cannot fly over crowds of people, dangerous goods cannot be carried, you cannot release objects from the drone, and the drone must be marked with the registration number of the operator. And then here you can also see 3 subcategories that the open category is divided into: A1, A2 and A3. Another important thing that we need to quickly talk about is where are you actually allowed to fly your drone. Unfortunately, at the moment there is no official map where you could actually see where you are allowed to fly your drone and where you're not. However, according to the Icelandic Transport Authority, they are currently working on one. And so when that's ready, you will be able to find a link in the description below. But until then, there are several other resources that you can use. The first one is a map from DJI. However, that one is a little limited as it only shows you airports and then facilities like prisons, military bases and so on. Then another page that you should check out is the website from the Icelandic Environmental Agency. And on there you can see all the places where you are not allowed to fly a drone. And if you happen to be using my guide to research all those best places to visit in Iceland, then I'll be updating it now. And so if there is a place where you are not allowed to fly your drone, it will be just mentioned in the description of each of those places. And then there is a Vatnajökull and Þingvellir National Park, and both of those places have its own specific rules that you need to follow. For example, there are certain places at those parks where you are or you are not allowed to fly your drone. Then there are some places that allow you to only fly during a certain hours of the day, and certain places require you to get the verbal permission from one of the rangers of the park. But I'm not going to be diving into all the details in this video, and so again, all the links and all the useful resources can be found in the description below. Alright, so with all that covered, let's now just take a look how to register a drone. So first of all, we need to go to flydrone.is. And there, this is the first page that you will see. And there you will see that you have 3 options. Private person as a drone pilot with drone, pilot for an organization or a company as a drone operator. And the same thing as with open category. 99% of you will be selecting the first option. Below that you will see that you have 2 options. Either register with electronic ID or register with email address. The electronic ID, that's only for people who live in Iceland. And so the majority of you will be most likely just clicking on the second button, register with email address. So first of all, you will just create an account. After you confirm your email, you should receive a verification email to your email address. And the email looks something like that, and you just have to click on the link which will take you back to website of flydrone.is. And then you just continue setting up the account, so you fill up your first name, last name. This section is again only for Icelandic residents, and so you will just fill up your date of birth and then phone number, street address and so on. Then in the next step you can pay the registration fee, which is 5,500 Icelandic kronas. And after you confirm the payment, you will be taken to this page. And on there you will be able to see that you have the A1, A3 exam material, and then you can also view the operator and pilot information, and then you also have things like terms for flying drones under 250 grams and frequently asked questions about the exam. After you have registered, you will also receive an operator registration number, which you are required to display on the drone, and you will also need to upload it to your remote controller. And you can simply just stick it somewhere on the side of the drone, somewhere where it's visible. And I also like to add my name, my phone number and my email address. So just in case if I crashed it and someone found it, they just have a way of contacting me. And then you also need to upload the registration number into the remote controller, and at least with the DJI drones it is pretty simple. And all you have to do is to just go to three dots up here, go to safety and scroll down to remote ID section, and then click on UAS remote identification, and here is where you can enter the registration number. By the way, if you still cannot see this option in the settings, then you might either just need to update to the latest version of the software, or another option could be that, and that's something that I've noticed mentioned in some of the online forums, if you are for example from the US, then you might just have to wait till you get to Iceland, and after that, that option should show up in those settings. And now when you are done with all that, if your drone weighs less than 250 grams, then you are pretty much all set. But if your drone is a bit heavier, then you still need to take the online exams. The exam consists of 40 questions, it is completely free, and you have like 12-hour limit to complete it, but it shouldn't really take you longer than like half an hour to an hour. Plus, on the same website where you registered, you will also get all the material that you need to study for the exam. And then you just need to answer 30 out of 40 questions correctly, and if you fail it, don't worry about it, you can just retake it and you won't be charged any extra fees or anything. And when you are ready to take the exam, you can just go to A1, A3 exam material, and in the right bottom corner you should be able to see a yellow button which says take exam. And you just click on start exam, and this is sort of how it looks. So you see there is 40 different questions that you just need to go through and answer. And after you are done with all that, you just complete the exam. And basically almost immediately you should be able to see the results, and hopefully you have passed the exam and you will be able to see a page like this which has some information, and you can also see your score from the test. And then if you go back, you can go to pilot competency, and here you can see a proof of competency, which is something that you can download to your phone. And so congratulations, you are now ready to legally fly your drone in Iceland. But there is still one more thing. You also have to keep in mind that there are certain scenarios where you need to be extra cautious to avoid getting in trouble or even losing your drone. And that is actually quite an important topic which I'm covering in this video, and I hope to see you there.